Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission, as always, is to cut through the noise for you. We take your sources today, that's global events from June 21st, 2025, and some really fascinating ancient prophetic texts from Holy Scripture.
Right.
And we distill them down and give you the key insights. Basically a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed.
And today we're really trying to bridge that ancient wisdom with, well, what's happening right now.
Yeah.
The goal isn't just finding parallels, it's more about uncovering these, timeless patterns, human behavior, consequences. You'll see these aren't just random events. They resonate with deeper themes like accountability, unfaithfulness, that kind of thing. The search for meaning when things get tough.
Okay, so let's jump right into it then. We're starting with a feeling I think everyone recognizes in bad times. Divine withdrawal and affliction. This comes from Hosea 5.15.
Yeah.
It talks about people in real trouble, earnestly looking for answers.
Exactly. The verse itself, Hosea 5.15, it just says, "In their affliction they will seek me earnestly." Simple, but powerful. And if you look at June 21st, 2025, well, this escalating Iran-Israel conflict, the human cost is just devastating. Casualties in Gaza, over 430 dead in Iran. That's a profound global affliction right there.
No question.
And what's really interesting is how you see this collective seeking for some kind of relief. You have the UN Secretary General expressing grave alarm, these urgent calls to de-escalate.
Everyone's scrambling.
Yeah, it's a desperate search for solutions when everyone feels the pressure.
Yeah.
Really shows that human tendency to look for something, maybe something bigger, when things get really intense.
That connects powerfully. And it makes me think, well, what about when those desperate efforts, even the biggest ones, just fizzle out?
Right.
That brings us to this next idea, which I find really compelling. The futility of unfaithful endeavors. It echoes Isaiah 26.18, talking about giving birth to wind.
Yeah, giving birth to wind. Isaiah 26.18 paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? All this effort, this struggle, and it produces nothing tangible, just empty air.
Like wasted effort.
Exactly. It's a metaphor for things done without real purpose, or maybe things that are just flawed from the start. And on June 21st, you saw the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites.
Hailed as a success.
Hailed as a spectacular military success.
Right.
Using these massive bunker buster bombs designed to obliterate their capacity.
Big stuff.
Huge. But then almost immediately, Iran vows regrettable responses.
Yeah.
And experts are already saying, look, regime change, unlikely.
So not the knockout punch hoped for.
Not at all. All that intense military action, the risk, the cost, it resulted in maybe a 2 to 3 year delay for Iran's program. Not real lasting peace.
Just a pest.
Just a pause. It shows intense pain, intense effort for really limited temporary results, maybe even counterproductive. And even economically, the Fed, the U.S. Central Bank, they held interest rates steady because of the war. No real stability there either. Force alone just doesn't fix the root problems.
So if these huge efforts can just give birth to wind, like you said, what does that tell us about how we should view claims of peace, especially from leaders? Which brings us to the peril of false peace and deception from Ezekiel 13.16.
Yes, Ezekiel 13.16. It warns about prophets who saw a vision of peace for her when there was no peace. It's a caution against, superficial fixes, things that make you feel secure but don't actually solve anything.
Like a PR move almost.
Kind of. You see it mirrored in rhetoric like President Trump saying strength and peace right after those strikes. But that clashes completely with the UN warning about an uncontrollable fire.
Two very different stories.
Exactly. Or look at Belarus. President Lukashenko pardons 14 opposition figures.
Sounds good.
Right?
On the surface.
But there are still over 1,100 political prisoners locked up. So these are examples where the official story is peace or progress, but the reality underneath, still deeply troubled. It's that false sense of security.
And running through all of this, there seems to be this ancient insistence on accountability. That actions, that's the theme of accountability for injustice from 2 Chronicles 24.22.
Absolutely. 2 Chronicles 24.22 captures it with Zechariah's dying words, "May the Lord see this and call you to account." It's this powerful demand for justice when trust is broken.
And you see echoes today.
Absolutely. Think about the Trump administration ending specific suicide prevention services for LGBTQ plus youth. That was widely seen as abandoning a responsibility, right? It drew sharp criticism, demands for accountability. Or Panama suspending constitutional rights during protests, which led to casualties. Again, you see citizens demanding accountability from those in power. These moments just underscore how actions, especially by leaders that betray trust or harm vulnerable people, they inevitably spark that call for a reckoning. It mirrors the ancient cry for justice.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it's pretty striking how these ancient themes just keep echoing in our world today.
They really do.
It's not just history repeating, is it? It's like these fundamental patterns of human behavior playing out again and again, shaping the challenges we face globally.
And that leads to, I think, a really crucial takeaway for you, the listener. It's the absolute importance of discernment, of telling truth from fiction.
Especially now.
Especially now, with so much information flying around, we have to critically look at claims of success or peace, especially when they come from people in authority. It's vital if we want to avoid just being complacent.
So not just taking things at face value.
Exactly. It's about looking for real, holistic solutions. Solutions rooted in understanding human nature, understanding justice, not just buying into the easy narratives.
So, as you go through your week, maybe think about this. Where do you see efforts that might just be giving birth to wind? Where are those genuine calls for accountability really bubbling up? And how do you tell the difference between true peace and maybe just a story about peace in the news you see? It's definitely something worth chewing on as you navigate our complex world. Keep asking those questions. Keep digging deeper.